Hello and welcome back to the Football Chat Podcast. Today it's episode 150 and we've got a multitude of topics to talk about from this week's football news. We can start with a question that was posed to us in our live chat on Saturday. I can't remember who it was, so apologies. If you are watching, please do take your credit in the comments below. But they basically asked about the most expensive transfers and why they all seem to fail. So we're going to try and answer that question today, aren't we, Harry?
Yeah.
Short answers as always. We will try and answer that question, why they all fail, whether it's there's obviously a load of factors, but what factor we deem to be the most problematic or the reason, really. So we're going to start then by looking at those top 20 most expensive transfers, because I think they do paint an interesting picture when you actually look through them. We'll start at the most expensive, work our way down, discussing why they failed, whether they failed, and whether we can actually judge them yet, because a couple in there, obviously, that are way too recent to judge. We'll start with then at the top, Neymar to PSG in 2017, 222 million euros. I think we can all say that was a resounding failure. A player that came in with such expectations, yet really failed to reach those at Paris.
Yeah, I think this one is a bit more of an outlier because, for me, that amount of money, no matter how good a footballer is, they will never live up to it. It was always going to fail. Neymar could have scored 50. He could have got 50 goal contributions in his first year, and it still failed because that is a mental amount of money. It is a ridiculous amount of money, and no matter how well he did, it would have been a failure. So I feel like the Neymar one is different to the rest of them because over 200 million. That's outrageous.
Especially given the market in 2017, it's not what it was today.
No.
Today the market is it's hyperinflated in recent seasons. So given what other players are going for, it was hugely out of market value. I don't think they've ever, as you say, I don't think they've ever realised that sort of value. Never going to get £220 million worth of player. I do think he is still a brilliant player, though. I think he's, without the injuries, maybe we'll be saying that they still paid too much, but it was still an excellent signing. So, I don't know. It's difficult to really say. I do think, though, it is a failure. I think PSG fans have been let down. The fact they've not won a Champions League title, despite the fact you paid 200 million.
For one
200 million euros for one player.
At the end of the day, he's just a man.
Yeah,
he spent over 200 million euros on a man.
He is. He's very good at football.
He's all right.
Second, Kylian Mbappe to PSG, also in 2017, and we're just 145 million. So we're going to look at the upfront costs. Obviously, this list could look very different if you include add-ons, but it's hard to say which add-ons have been triggered and which haven't. So it's easier just to look at that upfront cost and go from there. So Kylian Mbappe, has it been a success?
This is different to the Neymar one because the Neymar one was A, so much more money, and B obviously we know now that he's obviously left and it wasn't long term. With Mbappe,
they sold Neymar obviously for a fifth of the price of what they paid for him, pretty much. So but around that 50 million mark, if we're looking at 220 mil, it's
with Mbappe. Also, there's no thing going on with this. All these transfers, all that transfer he goes under every single summer with his contract expiring. Or with his, is he going to be sold? Is he going to leave on a free? What's he going to do? Oh, now he's got to sit with the B team. All pretty resolved again. But I think for that amount of money and for the long-term success they've had with Kylian Mbappe, that one worked for me. That was worth it because they got all of their money's worth, really. The amount of league titles he helped them win, helping them get to that Champions League final in 2020, that 145 million is, and if they're to sell on now, they make a profit.
Yeah, I want to point out that obviously Mbappe's transfer a very big fee, but if they were to sell him on, the difference with the Neymar one is you'd have to say it would exceed 200 million, right?
Yeah.
If he's got a fair length left on his contract, if they're selling him in today's market, it smashes the record. So I think 145 million euros. I think if they look back at that now, they're going to be very happy.
How long's been there now? 5 years? 6 years?
That's 2017, so he's going on to his sixth season.
And they've won the league and everything, one of those, apart from one, and then they've also got the Champions League final. I think the fact that they won the Champions League really lets them down, but that's not his fault.
I was going to say, Mbappe in that time, World Cup winner, World Cup finalist in 2022 as well. The Euros 2020 weren't great, but
Nations League finalist.
Things achieved. He did see that as well, yeah.
Big achievement.
And obviously smashing PSG goal records. I believe he's their top goal scorer, right?
Has to be.
I think he recently passed
He
Zlatan.
scored, what, 20 plus goals for 6 years? That's 120 goals.
And the club's got no histories.
And that's just, we're looking, I think it's probably more than that, isn't it? Probably closer to 30 plus than 20 plus.
Well, I guess it's got to be over 30, you'd say, in a 40 game season.
Cups, they play some random Ligue 2 side, and the
Mate, they play like Châteauroux.
15-0.
Yeah.
In fact, they've got 7.
Yeah, exactly. I think that is a little bit stat padding, but ultimately he's a ridiculously good talent, isn't he? And I think that it'll always be waged this Haaland versus Mbappe debate, similar to how Messi and Ronaldo has, but I think they're both ridiculously good footballers. I don't think anyone can doubt that for a second.
So far, 1 out of the 2 we've named, it was a success.
It goes down quickly. João Felix, Atletico Madrid 2019, 126 million euros.
Benfica thought they do best.
Yeah.
Conned them.
I was going to say, the amount of players in this list that are from Benfica, all 2 of them, are... As you go down further, there's loads more. But in the top 22 players from Benfica, for me, João Felix was a great player and is still a great player. He just wasn't given the time to adapt. But he had 1 season of senior football before he signed for the worst club you could ever send a creative player to. Yeah. It's like sending Picasso to prison. Like, you're not going to get anything good out of it. He'd probably have a great wall, wouldn't it? His wall would be amazing. But Felix, I feel like you've sent him to the most restricted manager when he's one of the most exciting creative players that I've ever watched. So
for me,
it's a real shame that this never worked out for him.
I never think he was a £145 million player.
126.
126 million. He was very good. He was very good at Benfica. That season was brilliant. But for Atleti to watch 1 season and go, yeah, I'll give them 126 million. That's ludicrous.
I think Atleti panicked that summer. Because this is 2019. Griezmann had just left and joined Barcelona. They've just seen their rivals Real Madrid sign Eden Hazard.
Yeah.
I think they looked in that moment and went, shit, what have we've got? Who's our front line? Morata? Let's get anyone.
So they decided to throw all their Grealish money at...
Griezmann
money, not Grealish.
They said it on Grealish, shouldn't it?
All that Griezmann money
playing in the championship
at one bloke. And a very young, talented player that was not ready.
And in that, you got to say, in that moment, given the market in 2019, they definitely could have spent it wiser. However, they did go on to win the league.
They did.
It was 2021, I believe, they won the league, right?
Yeah.
I want to say. Might be wrong there. But yeah, within a couple of seasons, they'd won the league. While it hasn't worked out for Felix, he's still young. I think for Atleti, it was a bad transfer. For Felix, he could still bounce back. He's still only 24.
I mean, obviously, they went downhill because he joined Chelsea on a loan, and that was last year was the worst Chelsea side we've seen
and he's still flourished in that side, it has to be said. He still looked good at times. I mean, given how bad that team was.
Fresh start at Barca for him. Maybe there's a bright future, but if we're looking at transfer alone, it was a fail.
Yeah, 100%. I think that one was a lot more about the buying club, though, than the player that moved.
Yeah.
But,
and a selling club, because Benfica just, I think they add an extra 0 on the end of every single value.
Just sneak it in, don't let the
like a 10 mil player, so I mean, worth 100 million.
Yeah, speaking of Benfica, up next it's Enzo Fernandez. I think this one is much too early to judge. We're only 6 months into his time at Chelsea, joined obviously in January of this year.
I don't think it's his fault that Chelsea were 8 months last year.
I think he looks a ridiculously good player. I think he
is, yes.
I think he will be one of the best midfielders in the world over the next decade. So, obviously, I think it's way too early to judge now, but preemptively, it's a good transfer.
Similar to the Mbappe one, that we'll look back on it in a few years and go, that was a steal.
Yeah, I also...
He's not put the same numbers as Mbappe. It's not like, oh my god, mind blown. But we'll still go, yeah, okay, that was a decent price.
Yeah, and I think his transfer shows a new trend of defensive midfielders being so expensive. We saw it this summer, and we've got another 2 to talk about. Well, yeah, defensive midfielders, they've risen in price because they're so valuable right now into how every system operates. Every team in the Premier League needs a DM right now. It seems to be. But 2, they're also very rare. DMs, they're like unicorns. They're great. They come around once in a blue moon, though, so you've got to shoot it when you see it.
You feel like this transfer mixed with the fact that it was Benfica, the selling club, and who knew Chelsea had a lot of money, and then they were put into a bit of a bidding war with Liverpool, so they did manage to drive that price up a bit.
Yeah.
So they did really well, but I still think it will be... It's obviously hard to judge, but I think we'll look back on it as a success.
I think we will. I think if you lay out the facts of he should be, providing nothing miraculously horrendous happens, he should be one of the best midfielders of the next decade. Yeah. 121 million for one of the best midfielders in the world. I think that's a steal.
Yeah.
I think that's a steal. So for me, while it looks expensive now, I think it will come good.
Yeah.
Even if Chelsea don't, they should be able to sell it on for more. Up next, then, we've got two Barcelona signings, joint at number 5. We've got Coutinho in 2018 and Griezmann in 2019. After Neymar, I mean, there's a lot more to talk about with Barcelona. There's a whole other story with Bartomeu and the shit show that went on there with the finances, and they're still recovering from that to this day.
Well, they did win the league last year, so well done.
Yeah, they're recovering well. But looking at those two deals, then, which was worse?
I think it has to be... I'm going to say Coutinho. I think Coutinho is worse, based on the fact that they did manage to take a very good Griezmann off their rivals.
Yeah, fair enough.
Who then went to spend loads of money on João Felix. That didn't, as we said, that didn't realise that didn't work. We'll start with Coutinho first. I feel like similar to Felix, with Atleti Felix, they watched one magical season of Phil Coutinho.
No, Coutinho had many.
No. What I'm saying, he had many good seasons, right? But he was very, very good, and they just went, well, he's very good, and chucked a load of money.
They bought him in January 2018, if I'm not mistaken.
Why? Never buy a player in January.
To be fair, though, his first 6 months, I want to say, his first 6 months of life at Barcelona actually went really well. He fit in nicely. He was putting up some decent numbers, and actually there's a lot of promise there. And I still think, at the time, he was one of the hottest players on the market. He is still an exceptional footballer. For whatever reason, there wasn't that belief in him, and I don't know whether he didn't believe in himself, whether there's just never any trust in him. But he didn't get many minutes. But we did see his quality. When he went on loan to Bayern, and he scored against Barca when they won 8-1, that really showed he is still a brilliant player. He was still a brilliant player. For whatever reason, it just didn't work out at Barcelona. And potentially that's the pressure of the move, of the club, of the sheer sum of money he moved for.
Yeah.
Potentially it's that. Potentially it's poor recruitment. Didn't fit with what the club needed. There's a load of ways you can look at it, and we're going to look at all those sort of reasons once we've talked about other players. But Coutinho, definitely a failure. And Griezmann, definitely a failure.
Coutinho, Barca spent that money, end up losing on a free to Villa. Coutinho must be laughing. He's earned money. He's now in Qatar.
Yeah,
he has earned a lot of money. He's balling out. He's got so much money.
I just feel though, similarly to Neymar, it's a potentially. A fantastic Brazilian talent completely wasted.
Where's Griezmann now? Is he still at Barca?
He's gone back to LA.
Oh, of course he has.
Went out on loan, then back.
Yeah.
Permanent.
Rough, really.
Yeah, it's never great when you make 120 million pound, 120 million euro move, and then end up going back.
They always say never go back to your ex.
20, 30. Well, what if she's smoking up?
Doesn't matter.
Okay, fair enough. A man of great morals. In at joint 7, then, we've got two players that we can't really judge yet in Moise Caicedo and Declan Rice.
But again, similar to Enzo, that defensive midfielder thing.
Yeah, exactly.
With the inflated market that's going to happen over the next few years, with the fact they're new, with the fact they look good, they will come good eventually.
I don't know if it'll happen over the next few years. It's definitely happened this summer, though, with the inflated market. Similar to how fullbacks did. The summer before last, everyone was all, we love fullbacks now, go buy loads of them. It seems to be that with DMs now.
That's pretty cool.
Or at least this summer. Maybe it'll be, who knows who will be next summer. But it's interesting, isn't it? Caicedo...
Random position. Right wing backs.
Yeah. Everyone's just buying right wing backs. Josip Juranovic is moving for 50 million.
Everyone just loves a good goal. Good bench goalkeeper.
Yeah. So Caicedo, it just... I don't know. As a Chelsea fan, I'm worried the transfer is just a bit of a mess.
What? It just doesn't make any sense.
It does make sense. He's a fantastic footballer and he's probably proven.
But why do you then need Enzo and Lavia as well?
Well, Enzo can play a more advanced role. He's a bit more of a creator.
You cannot spend
And
those sums of
Caicedo,
money.
Lavia rotate.
If you spend 100 and odd, if you spend 100 million on Enzo, you then cannot go and spend the same on Caicedo.
Yeah, fair.
And then you can't go spend a little bit lower on Lavia.
The thing is, you can have Enzo and Caicedo, but then why Lavia and Ugachukwu as well?
But in terms of Caicedo, it's looked rough. And, again, Brighton since Benfica, they drive a hard bargain. Another bidding war. Chelsea had to swoop in the last minute, just chucked all of Todd Bowley's life earnings on the table by the sounds of it, and Brighton went, we'll have that. Goodbye, Liverpool. Caicedo finally had a change of heart.
But also, I think Caicedo's definitely one where I would say the pressure seems to be the biggest issue. Caicedo played for a Brighton side where there was no pressure.
Yeah.
There was never any expectation on Brighton. I think a similar thing happened with Marco Correa, because there was never any expectation there. And I don't know whether it was... And I think that's having a big impact now. I think it's having a huge impact now.
The thing with Caicedo, all the different transfers, is I feel like it was a massive transfer saga with him. He was going to Liverpool, Chelsea were first interested, then Liverpool were, then it kind of bounced around, and then Liverpool were going to get him. He looked like, he loves Liverpool, he's going to go to the club, and then suddenly at last minute, he's gone to Chelsea. That's a big switch, because it looked for all the world that he was going to go join Liverpool, and then suddenly he's in love with Chelsea Football Club.
Yeah, it's definitely too early to judge. But it does look a bit of a miss. Joined on the same price is Declan Rice. Now, I know their add-ons are slightly different. I think Rice is a lot lower than Caicedo's, but I believe those Caicedo ones are performance-related. So, swings and roundabouts, isn't it? With Rice, I think the difference is, and why he's adapted to Arsenal so quickly, is because he has played with pressure.
Yeah.
He played for a West Ham side where he was the star man. He wasn't just another cog in a fantastic possession-based system. He was the star man. And he was playing for a team that needed him to drag them forward.
Yeah.
But he's also played for England. He's played in European finals. He's played in the Conference League final. He's played in, European Championship finals. He's played in big games, Declan Rice. He's been involved in big moments. Caicedo hasn't. Caicedo's played for Ecuador and they've not really gone anywhere yet, though they have got an exciting young side. He plays for Brighton, who a similar sort of thing, really. They've not really gone anywhere yet, but they do play nice football. I just think that step up in pressure and expectation, you've gone from a couple people, Brighton. You've gone from a lot less...
That little seaside town.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot less of a global attention and fan base and media speculation on every little aspect of your play when you play for Brighton. But when you move to Chelsea, there is that expectation, that scrutiny, that level of pressure that comes with the club. So I think he can come good, and I hope he does. But I am worried for him, and I think it's a similar thing that's happened with Mudryk. He's not on our list because he doesn't quite reach the threshold. I know a lot of people say 100 million for Mudryk. It never was that, but he doesn't quite get onto this list. But I think it's a similar thing there with the pressure of moving, especially given the fact he was playing for a Shakhtar Donetsk side during one of the toughest moments of his life.
Yeah.
His country was at war. I think now that huge culture shift, it's going to have an impact. And I think that's been the biggest issue with Chelsea's transfers. They're not integrating players who are potentially going to take time to adapt into a side that's strong. They're putting them into a side that's weak and expect them to make the difference. That isn't working quite clearly. The other player joining at seventh then is Jack Grealish's €117 million move to Manchester City in 2021.
I think it was good.
Interesting.
Maybe a little on the high side, but I think it's good. He looks very good. He is a really, really good footballer. Yeah. Magnificent, very experienced, a lot of England caps under his belt now. And over the last few years at City, he has been really, really good. It took him time to get going. Yeah. And I think that's why I'd say the price was probably a bit steep, because it did take him a season and a half. But now he's really got going. He's in that side. He looks very good. I
mean, Pep doing what he did best. Grealish got that move. He then coasted. He was like, I've got to where I need to be. And then Pep was very much like, you need to keep improving. You need to keep growing. And I think there's definitely a different mentality about Jack Grealish now. I think this is a classic case of the ends will never justify the means. Yeah. No matter how well Grealish does, I think it'll always be viewed as, well, they paid a bit too much.
Yeah.
Because €117 million for a player that doesn't put up ridiculous contributions, it's it's never going to look like a good deal on paper, even though he is a good player and I think he fits the system well. I don't think he's ever going to reach that 170 million.
Paying a little bit extra so he's a bit more of a party animal. When you win all these, when you win all these trophies, you need someone that's going to get the party going.
I mean, that is helpful, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think he's worth every every penny.
170 when it was spent.
Someone who's definitely not worth every penny. Lukaku, his move to Chelsea in 2021, 115 million euros.
What is there to say? He was
Dear
rubbish.
God.
He was absolutely rubbish. He is rubbish. He was rubbish at Chelsea. What a waste of money. Huge failure. And now he is... What is he doing now?
He's at Roma now on loan.
Oh, he's at Roma.
It's just this... It's always been his attitude with Lukaku. For some reason, he seems like 1 minute it's like, I love the club. Next minute, he's complete, just muppet.
Doing interviews.
And he did all right for the first half of the season. He joined. He looked all right. He was slightly struggling, doing okay. Definitely worked room to improve. And then he goes, you know what? We're in the national duty. What am I going to do? I'm going to piss everyone off.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be a prick for no reason. And Chelsea were enjoying a good start to the season. And then he went, wow, let's just piss that out of the wall.
I think it would have paid off.
I think it probably would have done all right, yeah.
And then he decided just to go, you know what? I don't fancy this anymore. I'm going to go tell everyone that they're shit.
I mean, it's just the strangest decision.
Yeah.
I don't get it from him. I really don't get it.
So I think it was a failure, but that's on Lukaku and not Chelsea.
But you've got to do your research. You can see what kind of character he is in that situation. We've seen him before. He doesn't work hard.
So he's not get Townsend and hang on a minute. He's just done an interview. It's just called us all rubbish.
Well, that was after, wasn't it? Obviously, but when we had a deal for Haaland done by many reports at 120 million, but decided it was too much to pay, it just feels like a stab in the head when Lukaku's done what he's done. And it's just a frustrating situation, obviously, but a definite fail. I don't think there can be any doubts there. And I don't think it fits any of the criteria of is it pressure, is it poor recruitment, maybe poor recruitment. It's just Lukaku, isn't it? Like, you never know what's going to happen there. He's probably going to score 50 in the Serie A this season for Roma, and City will buy him and make him the best goal scorer ever. Should we move on to our next players? Because the first of which is Ousmane Dembele to Barcelona in 2017, 105 million euros.
I think, again, this is a bit of do your research, but apart from that, this is no one's fault. The poor bloke just keeps getting injured. I don't know what it's just one of those, once you get injured once, you can't stop it.
He's such a talented footballer, and I think that will come to fruition. Hopefully, I hope his time at PSG can be less injury-riddled.
I think...
And we can see the best of Ousmane Dembele.
When the transfer was first made, for that kind of money, it was a bit like, that's steep, but he is very good.
But also, at that time, they spent half of the Neymar money on him.
Yeah.
And that felt like, you know what? While you've lost Neymar 200 million, you've still kept half it, and you've gone and got one of the most exciting talents in world football.
But he spent more time with the physio than he did on the pitch.
Yeah, it's just then 6 months later they decided we need another one, Coutinho, and then somehow 18 months later they went, you know what we need? Another £100 million plus player. So it was really poor recruitment from Barcelona, and I think Dembele was a great addition, but they shouldn't have then gone and signed more and more £100 million players. It's just a shame it never worked out with Dembele, because he was the right fit, he's the right profile, but they should have really seen his injury record.
Yeah, they should have.
But alas, not a lot you can do about that. Joining with him is Paul Pogba's move to Manchester United in 2016, which did break the world transfer record at the time at 105 million euros.
This bloke's career's gone down the drain a bit.
Yeah, just a little.
Just a little. I thought he was going to be like one of the world's greatest players when he joined United.
I think a lot of people did.
I was wrong.
He should have been.
He should have been.
At Juventus, he was so good. And this is the problem with these expensive transfers. Is it that it can't be the poor recruitment, because a lot of these signings on paper looked ridiculously good. So is it the expectation? Is it the pressure? Or is it simply that no matter how good a player ever is, they can never live up to the hype? I don't know. I feel like it's probably the first two. It's very much if you move for 100 million, that's going to be in your head, isn't it? I think that's
this is also a little bit in a similar boat to the Lukaku one. It's on him.
A bit, yeah, I think.
He was a bit of a toad.
Yeah. But he's had some magical moments.
Yeah.
And I think that Man United fans
you think-
should try and focus on that, I guess.
Players that go for over 100 million, they're probably going to have a bit of an attitude. Because they're going to think they're the dog bollocks.
Do you also think that he never had a coach who really believed him?
Well, yeah, those few years at United were rough.
Because if we think about it, so he had Mourinho. Mourinho is sensational. One thing we know about Mourinho is there is no leeway. There is no shits given. If you don't want to work for him, it just doesn't work, does it? Exactly. No. And Ndombele running around in 50 degrees.
On their little bikes.
Like, if it just doesn't work, if you don't work for Mourinho, he will not.
If you play at your football club, you do what you do. It's the Mourinho way.
Yeah.
If you don't do the Mourinho way, you're on your way.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like you needed a manager who believed in him. Then he got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who is completely useless.
He's just a bloke.
He's not completely useless. And I think his time at United was judged harshly because actually the situation around the club was horrendous. But he never managed Pogba right. And I don't know. I felt he needed... Do you know exactly who he needed? Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yeah.
Sir Alex Ferguson would have taken him by the scruff of the neck, got him on the straight and narrow, and got him playing beautiful football.
Stop dyeing your hair and why about playing football?
Well, still dye your hair if you want to, Paul Roberts.
Start playing football.
We live in a progressive society where people can dye their hair if they want to. It's not up to Sir Alex Ferguson, but yeah, I think it's just another one where it's not really on the club. It feels like they did make a good transfer. I mean, when you sell him for nothing and then buy him back for 105 million euros, you do have to question who's running the club.
Yeah.
And you still do now at Man United, but yeah, not a great situation. 13, someone where you shouldn't really be able to judge, but I think we can already. Jude Bellingham's 103 million euro move to Real Madrid this summer.
He's crazy.
He's so good at football.
He's mentally good at football.
Wow.
Like, it's not the inhumane levels of Messi and Ronaldo, but he is very, very good.
Bellingham is the definition of why I hate Southgate.
Yeah.
Because he's so good at football.
You've got Jude Bellingham in your team and drawing to Ukraine.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you do that? Because even the rest of the team have got absolute shite, he'd still score a hat-trick. So what are you doing wrong?
Yeah, Bellingham is an incredible footballer. I think that's so obvious to anyone that watches him. He's just a perfect combination of that power, physicality, but also he's got one of the best minds in football. He's such a creative spark in the middle there. His decision-making is excellent. His passion is superb. His work ethic is just...
Everything is just...
Yeah, I know. He's got the perfect combination of all talents from what you want from your midfielder. I am worried he's overplaying at 19, but it's Jude Bellingham.
But honestly, I think if he lasts the whole season, this transfer is good. Wow, bargain. Absolutely. And I thought I'd say 100 million transfers would be a bargain.
I think they'll look at it as, yeah.
Yeah.
I think, Dortmund were throwing around £150 million sums, like what they wanted. I think that at 100 million, they've, as you say, got themselves an absolute bargain. If you consider the players that went for more, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
14th, Gareth Bale's moved to Real Madrid in 2013 for 101 million euros. Obviously, at the time, this broke the world transfer record.
I mean, in terms of him and Real Madrid, this was brilliant.
It's a great start to life, wasn't it?
If it's Tottenham, that was the summer of Dardo and
combined. Tottenham summer comes in at next.
Yes.
The worst window ever.
From a transfer point of view for Bale, he won them Champions Leagues, he won them La Ligas, he won them Cups, he won the trophies. And that front three, BBC, was absolutely brilliant.
I feel like Bale is the greatest example of he could never justify the price tag.
No.
He was so good for Real Madrid, especially in his early
in that market back then.
If you think 2013, 14, 15, 16 sort of time, he was really in his prime. And he still had great moments after that, don't get me wrong. But that was when we really saw the best of Gareth Bale, I would say. Injuries plagued him a little bit throughout his time at Madrid. Then his attitude started to go, I'd rather play golf.
Oh no, Wales, golf, Madrid.
That's when you knew.
Wales first. Sorry, I went through it. Yeah. And golf came, between Real Madrid, Wales and golf. He chose Wales and then golf.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a bizarre choice, isn't it?
Why?
Pick either of those.
Why, mate? He could have won more Champions Leagues before that. He could have won something. He could have been one of the best players in the world. But he'd rather go play golf in Wales.
Yeah, but I think though Real will look back at that and go, you know what?
Success.
He scored in a Champions League final. He was still really good. I mean, I'm always taken back to that famous goal against Barcelona where he knocked the ball past the defender and ran off pitch around the defender and chased after it.
I like this bicycle kick against Carrick.
Yeah, I like that as well. He chases after it, picks up and collects the ball.
I think that's probably the best
In on
Champions
goal,
League
and
final I've watched in years.
That was, yeah, I mean,
I need to see that
all the
again.
recent ones were naff.
Carrick flat with his hands around while Bale scoring overhead kicks.
Anyway, up next we've got a joint tie at 15th. 3 transfers then who all came in at exactly 100 million euros. The first of which is Eden Hazard to Real Madrid in 2019. This is an unmitigated failure.
It should have been so good.
Yeah. It's another example of a player who gets that big move and then goes, well, I'm here now.
And for all parties,
I don't need to try.
For Chelsea fans, that interview after the Europa League final was one of the most emotional. That whole day was just emotional for Chelsea fans. Winning the Europa League against Arsenal, and then listening to Hazard in that post-match interview, because you could tell he wanted that move so badly, but he hated leaving Chelsea. And I bet he sat there after a year, 2 years at Real and went, "What if I never left?"
He's a Chelsea hero, though, isn't he? And I think, for me, it says a lot that right now at the age of 33, despite offers from his boyhood club Lille, his first club Lille, I should say, not his boyhood club. Might have been his boyhood club, I can't remember. But that was his first club. And other offers such as Marseille, he still turns them down. He doesn't really fancy playing. I think that says a lot. He's lost his love for football, I would say. I think when you move for that much money, that pressure's got to weigh on you. And we saw it with, people joke about his weight and stuff. I think he probably used that as a coping mechanism. Yeah. It must be incredibly difficult to have just been transferred for £100 million. And I think that different players obviously take that differently. We see Jude Bellingham, and he is carrying that weight and expectation on his shoulders, and he's rising above it. Yeah, Hazard got bogged down by it. Yeah, literally.
I mean, the age difference, because obviously Bellingham's got a career when he's very young. Hazard already had a massive career at Chelsea before he then got his big move.
Could he have been looking at it as, well, what have I got left to achieve? I've won everything. I'll probably pick up a Champions League anyway while I'm here at Real and got to do anything. Yeah. Real just win Champions League.
He found the injury bench while he won, got Champions League medals.
Yeah.
Not a bad life, eh? Gareth, why do you play golf, mate? We do it. Anyone playing in your position, you get to Wales.
But I would say, definite failure, wasn't it? I mean, you've signed one of the most exciting players in the world. It just didn't work out.
Yeah.
Just didn't work out. Up next, Harry Kane's €100 million move to Bayern Munich.
That's this summer, work, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see how it doesn't. I think even if he leaves in 3-4 years' time, he's gonna hit 200 goals in that time.
200 goals, 4 Bundesliga.
Yeah, they may even win a Champions League.
4 Pokals and 4 Super Cups. That's 16 trophies.
He's still only 29. If he leaves when he's 33 to go back to Tottenham or to go to Manchester United or something like that, I think you can easily recoup 50-60 million. In which case, you've paid a net 40 million in that time frame for the world's best striker right now. Yeah. Just to score goals for fun in the Bundesliga.
Scott Hope doesn't do what the expensive Tottenham player did and go play England cricket. Bayern.
Not counting Haaland and Mbappe and that, by the way, because they're definitely ahead. But if he decides to bring out an England banner with England cricket,
Munich,
then it's going to be a bit
in that order.
Yeah. Up next, we have Cristiano Ronaldo's move to Juventus in 2018 for €100 million. It's not the first time, and not the last time, sorry, that Ronaldo will feature in this list.
I mean, for Juventus, they went, he's Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Let's go get him. And he scored a lot of goals.
The thing is, from a commercial point of view, Ronaldo paid for his own transfer, didn't he?
It's a success.
They won the Scudetto.
Yeah.
I think they recouped 30 million as well from Manchester United.
Twice the height of a defender once. I remember seeing that picture so many times.
He did, and I think Juve, I mean, as you say, you've seen it loads of times, Juve probably still making so much money,
also,
or at least...
What does that feel like as a defender? You're like, for fuck's sake, why was it? Even as the goal Ronaldo, he's Ronaldo. I'm not going to jump that high, am I?
I'm never getting out there.
To say.
Should just give a cheeky shove. Cheeky little push. But yeah, I feel like 100 million is Ronaldo.
It's Ronaldo.
It wasn't a fair.
There's no argument. It's Ronaldo.
Yeah. It's good transfer.
Okay.
18th, Anthony to Manchester United for 95 million euros.
People might say too early. Nope. It is not. Especially with the recent stuff that's come out. What a waste.
I don't really want to comment on that because I feel like it's an ongoing situation. There's still lots of evidence coming out.
But from United point of view, the fact he now can't play.
Well, yeah, the
After
investigation
shit,
going over the next sort of month or so. I'm hoping that gets concluded quickly. So if he is innocent, he gets back to his football. If he is guilty, then that's dealt with in the appropriate way, and he doesn't end up at Getafe. But I do think that at 95 million for a player that can't cross on his right foot, it's a problem.
He can go one way, and he can only go one way, and you know he's going to go that one way.
I mean, I do have serious questions about Ten Hag's talent ID. Because at Ajax, you don't need to have a talent ID because they've got the best scouting operation. You just go in the academy and go, well, he's good, isn't he? And they go, yeah.
Don't put man, so they'll come in your inbox and go, he's good. He's also good. I'll have him as well.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. I don't think he was ever really going to work in the Premier League. You can be one-dimensional in the Eredivisie. We saw that with Ziyech.
Yeah.
You can be one of the best players in the world in the Eredivisie with 1 foot. But
can't be 1 foot
in the Premier League, the left back's just going to go,
hang on,
no, you're not coming against.
Go out that way. And he goes, I don't want to do that. So he just runs away.
And then he waits till Wan-Bissaka turns out.
Or he just spins around for a bit.
Yeah, it just feels
he
like
does a little spin and just volleys off the pitch for a laugh.
he's obviously a good player. Like, that's undoubted, but he's never going to be worth that 95 million. No. He's had some decent moments.
And you've got really good players on the bench over him as well. What a waste. Big failure. Ajax robbed them. Daylight robbery.
Indeed. Then we have joint at 19th, then to finish off, Harry Maguire's move to Manchester United in 2018, 94 million euros. 94 million
Harry Maguire.
Can someone buy a defender at over 100 million euros just so we don't have to keep seeing Maguire as the most expensive defender of all time? God, what were United thinking? What were they thinking? He's clearly a good player.
Was he that good at Leicester?
80 million. He was good, but at 50.
94 million pounds, euros.
He's not dealt well with the expectation of Manchester United.
And then rather than leave and forget everything happened, he fancy staying for more prejudice.
Did you watch? I mean, we watched the Ukraine game. Did you see him just run at Gurhey when we conceded? It's so bad. He should just block the man or be marking the man in on the ball.
No, protect me, I don't like it.
Instead, he runs at Mark Gurhey and makes space opens up.
The way he just fully sprint at Mark Gurhey, like he's going to do something.
It's so painful to watch him defend.
I could have been a United fan. That goal against Arsenal and Rice, where him and Johnny Evans just stand there and go, well, he's going to score, isn't he?
Just like, he takes 5 minutes to bring the ball down. They're like, anytime now, get ready.
Shoot, I'm ready. He's rubbish.
Yeah, but he's a failure, I think.
He's a failure, yeah.
It's fair to say. Finishing off our list, then we've got Cristiano Ronaldo's move from Manchester United to Real Madrid in 2009 at 94 million euros. I don't think we need to say much about this. No, they turned the profit on a 94 million euro transfer. The most, obviously, that was the transfer record.
And if you have commercial stuff, they probably quadrupled their profit.
He won multiple Champions Leagues, multiple league titles.
He
broke many records.
He was the second greatest player of all time.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, I actually see how much Barcelona spent on Messi. That's mental.
Barcelona made 30 million on Messi.
Yeah.
That's so silly. It's so ridiculous that they sad him for La Masia. But yeah, that is the 20. As we've seen, there's about 3 players on there that we think, that's a good transfer.
So the rest Ronaldo for once because he doesn't count twice.
Well, I think he counts twice.
Yeah, he counts.
There's 2 separate transfers, but roughly
5, 6.
Yes, about that.
Harry Maguire is not on that list of successes.
So I want to pose the question to you and chat. We're not chat. We're not live.
Hi guys.
Live chat. No, comment section down below. Get involved. Why do you think these transfers fail? But Harry, I want to pose it to you first. Why do you think these transfers fail? I mean, there's loads of factors, but what would you put it down to the most?
I want to say it's too much money. But we've also seen that it isn't. Look at Mbappe, look at Ronaldo. That wasn't too much money. So clearly, spending over 100 million on a footballer isn't a bad idea. Because it can work. I just think it's... I think one of the main things is how the player reacts to that move. Because
I agree 100% there.
Neymar went, I'm the dog's bollocks, aren't I? 220 million euros on me. I'm playing for PSG. Look at me. Anthony.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The common theme in this list is a difference in mentality.
Yeah.
You look at the players that we deem success. Ronaldo, literally, you could fill a wall with his quotes. Bellingham.
But the thing is, Ronaldo's the outlier because he's got the arrogance, but also he's got the fucking ability to back it up.
Yeah.
Like, you're Cristiano Ronaldo. You could be as arrogant as you want.
But the arrogance is fine. He
channels it.
Exactly. And it's the same with Mbappe.
Yeah.
Mbappe's an arrogant shit, and you would
When he's
not
back
want
there
to
doing
play.
this all the time, he's like, yeah, I'm the shit.
Exactly.
But he's just got at it.
There's moments where you're thinking, I hate this guy. I have to keep passing him. He's not passing it back. But then he goes and scores a hat trick, and you think, yeah, no.
Neymar, however, he thinks he takes a day off every year to go see his sister on her birthday.
And then you see these the more timid players like Felix and stuff, who are young when they moved,
He didn't
and
back themselves.
Dembele and players like that. There's a clear theme that you can spend over 100 million, but you need to profile the right sort of player. It needs to be someone that is confident in their own abilities and that will look at that fee and go, I am worth that.
You have
I should deserve to make that.
You either got Pitt to go, I'm the dog's bollocks, I'm the best player in the world, and then you got Pitt to go, should they really spend that much money on me? I don't feel like I can live up to that. And there's very few that go, well, I am worth that much money, but I'm also not an arrogant prick.
Yeah.
Or they've got the ability just to go, I'm arrogant, I'm lucky because I've just scored 5 goals in your net, so have it.
Or the other option is, if you are in the Bundesliga, just sign the Prem strikers, they're going to score 50.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even Andre Kramaric has been brilliant in the Bundesliga. So, yeah, that's the... If you've got 100 million, you're in the Bundesliga, look at the Premier League.
Even if it's just Johan Visser, it would score 25.
He'd do so well. But, yes, I think that's about it on the transfers. It is just... So, if you're going to spend 100 million, you need to make sure they've got the mentality they can deal with that. Someone like Enzo Fernandez, someone like Bellingham, someone like Ronaldo, they're the type of players that can deal with that. Don't sign Harry Maguire.
Harry Maguire.
Should we go on to our next topic then?
Yes, we should.
I hope that's answered the question that we had in the live chat. We've dedicated pretty much an entire podcast to it. We've got a couple of other topics to touch on before we sign off today. We wanted to throw in a couple of other things because we haven't got any FPL this week. No. But we will be back next week with the FPL content following this weekend's games. We can talk about the international break then, and I don't really want to talk about England. We've seen the first game, we were shitting about against Ukraine, and then obviously we haven't seen the Scotland game yet at the time of
Who cares? It's
recording.
Friendly.
It is exactly that. So, but I do want to talk about Hansi Flick. Obviously, Hansi Flick, Germany manager, ex-Germany manager, now sacked on Monday morning.
Yeah.
So, I mean, where did it all go?
In the mud.
Yeah. Where did it all go wrong?
They're in the mud. Oh, last year's for Germany, men's team, women's team, youth teams, it all just fallen to rubbish.
Yeah, specifically on Hansi Flick's reign, though, I would say it's very much the last year. He started quite well.
Why are we in the World Cup?
They got knocked out in the groups.
Oh my God, they did, didn't they?
Exactly.
Oh, there's
I would say about a year ago now. They had a couple friendlies, couple games before the World Cup, that sort of stuff, and Euro qualifiers, obviously, and not Euro qualifiers, so they're already in, but the final World Cup qualifiers and stuff like that. They qualified for the World Cup fine. They looked quite decent. It's after that, the friendlies for the World Cup and the Nations League games is what I meant, not the qualifiers. Stuff like that. They looked really poor in.
Yeah.
Then you get to the World Cup, and it was one of the most abysmal tournaments Germany have ever seen since their group stage knockout in 2014, which I get was only 8 years ago, but it's a real disappointment for them.
This has put them in a rock and a hard place.
And then they've not had any qualifiers, but they have had friendlies. They've been completely shit. I mean, 4-1 to Japan pretty much just summed everything
their
up.
two options were keep something that's going really wrong before you host a major national tournament and then get completely shattered in your own backyard.
Yeah.
Or get rid of the problem, but only have 10 months to fix it.
Before the tournament
on home soil.
Yeah. Exactly that. The problem is that the players never really what's the word? They didn't really care about it.
How can you inspire an international team in 10 months? You can't.
I think you can.
Look at
Morocco at the World Cup. Their manager came in 6 months or something like that before the tournament.
You could also look at Hervé Renard at Saudi Arabia.
Exactly that. So there are options out there, and I think if you get the right coach, you need someone that is very good at man management, that sort of motivating. This Germany side, it's not got those strong pillars of the team that won in 2014.
Yeah.
I think I said they got knocked out in 2014. I mean, they got knocked out groups in 2018 and 2022. I think, though, it's not got those strong leaders that it had in 2014. No. It's got a lot of young players that need that guidance, need to get that belief back. They need a reset. If you look at the start of the millennium, Germany very much reset their side. They were very unhappy with the tournament in 98, and they reset their team going into the new millennium. That's been very successful. They changed the way they do the youth setup. They changed the way that the national side was. They got rid of a lot of players and brought in a lot of young players. A lot of young players got opportunities, especially central midfielders, and they really developed a lovely brand of football that obviously then led to them winning the World Cup in 2014. Since then, 2 group stage knockouts at World Cups. Yeah. Nothing really at the... I mean, they got knocked out by England in the quarterfinals of Euro 2020. It's been an unparalleled failure for Germany. They've never been this shit.
The problem is for them...
they never have.
No. And this is a massive tournament for them. Because as you speak, for the men's team, it has been a terrible few years. For the women's team, similar.
Another horrific failure, a group stage knockout.
Group stage knockout in the most recent World Cup. Getting beaten by both teams in the last 2 years have been beaten by England on English turf.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough, isn't it?
Youth teams, again, got torn apart by England. They keep losing to England. It's brilliant.
Yusuf and Moukoko on their side, and they still lost. It just, it feels like it's a tough time to be a supporter of German football.
A massive tournament for Germany, back on home soil. I mean, they won the international basketball. Do you know that was a thing? That's most, that's all Germans got to hear about.
I didn't know anyone played basketball other than America.
Yeah, I didn't know that either until I saw it in the news. But they haven't got anything to celebrate right now.
I liked it because the Americans... Have you seen the whole American World Championship debate? And then obviously they went and lost, so that was quite amusing. But yeah, I think Germany's decision right now is so big.
Yeah. Because you have to... Because this is not only football fans. Look at how the whole of England reacted when we hosted the Euros in 2021.
There's host, but
you know what I mean.
Yeah, the whole weird situation.
On English turf, we got to the final. Look how the whole country reacted to that. It'll be the same for Germany. The whole country.
Always has been.
They can't get grouped. They cannot get grouped. It's inexcusable to get grouped on your own turf.
Especially in the Euros. World Cup, you can start more understand it because it's better teams as well. The Euros, they should be getting free.
But who do they bring in?
Well, this is what we're going to talk about now. So, there is not a chance in hell it's an outside hire. I cannot see it being a non-German. Just can't see Germany doing it. You can't bring in a
non-German when you're out of host a tournament on German soil.
Exactly.
And you need a turnaround.
So, the ideals are a Jurgen Klopp or Thomas Tuchel. Neither of them
are leaving now.
I don't
They will not risk their whole managerial career and the respect they've got from Germans to go cock it up in 10 months.
And this is the problem. If they sacked Flick in May,
they have time.
I think they could have convinced Klopp. I think they could have said to Klopp, "We want you for the home tournament." And I think he would have been hard pressed to say.
I think he would have gone the Bundesliga. Sure.
Or if they did it before Tuchel joined to Bayern, but it feels like they've waited too long and now they're stuck with slim pickings. But there is a very good option on the market, namely Julian Nagelsmann. How do you convince Nagelsmann to do German national duty?
I would say this is his big chance to put his name back on the map as a world-class manager.
I agree with that. I think he was sensational at RB Leipzig, but he has very much faded into a bit of obscurity since.
That weird sacking at Bayern was...
Where they lost 2 league games all season and then they sacked him.
That whole scenario was bizarre. Yeah. Whatever happened there, we will never know. But really bizarre, and he's kind of... I can't... He's probably just... just living a normal, regular life now in Germany, doing nothing. Yeah. This is his one
The problem for Nagelsmann is, what job do you take?
Yeah.
There isn't one out there.
And this is it. If I'm here, I go, fuck it. I've got 10 months. Either we turn up on our own soil and we put on a show and I go down as one of the greatest ever German managers, or I fuck it up and my career's down the drain. Never mind, because I'm doing that now.
Yeah, I don't think... The problem is it is a risk for Nagelsmann to go into international coaching. You can get stuck there. Not many managers who go into international come back. But I think for Nagelsmann, he could very much say, I'll take the side for 2024.
Big risk, big reward.
If he wins the Euros, though, he will be the hottest name on the market.
Or just go win the World Cup.
And Chelsea probably will be willing to bring him in because
$100
million a year, isn't it? So they've probably already got rid of Puck by then.
Lampard came for a stint.
Yeah.
Even Bull Bloke would have hopped in either Di Matteo or Salter.
Yeah.
And then we'll bring in someone else.
Andre Villabauer.
God.
But I feel like, yeah, there's definitely... I think Nagelsmann should take it.
I think he gets off, but he's got to take it by both hands.
But provided Nagelsmann doesn't take it, who would be your next sort of option? I mean, I've got an idea. Who would you say?
The problem is it's not going to be an outside hire.
Yeah. Obviously, Rudi Völler is taking over the team at the moment, or Rudi Völler. He obviously...
He can't take the tournament.
He took the team in 2000 to 2004.
He's a German
win
icon.
anything.
He can't do that again.
But is he the perfect man? He's not a brilliant manager.
Will be there.
He's not a brilliant manager. But is what this team needs a brilliant manager?
Yeah.
Or is it someone that's going to say, you are German.
You do not
You
lose.
know what it's like to be German. We do not lose.
Go out there, bomb on the table, and win the game.
Might just work. But yeah, if not, Oli Glasner. Former Eintracht Frankfurt manager, former VfL Wolfsburg manager. He has a lot of pedigree in the German game. Could he pull off the unthinkable?
This is the chance for a German manager to stand up, go, fuck it, this is me, and destroy the world on their own turf.
Yeah.
This is their moment. They don't want to bottle it. Nagelsmann, Glasner, any German manager, just a random bloke called Pietrov, chuck himself in there.
Not for a German name.
I don't know, it's the first name, but I was going to go Peter, that's too English.
What are your other options? Jim?
German Jim. Go out there, manage that team, and just give it what you got.
Yeah. All right, shall we get on to our final topic of the day?
Sure.
I think we're approaching the hour mark. I think this will a nice way to round off. Mohamed Salah has been the talk of the town, the talk of everyone over this summer,
Of the country,
as obviously he has been linked with a move to Al Ittihad. Now, we don't really want to talk about that today. We've had enough to talk about Saudi.
I'm bored.
It may happen. It may not. It's not going to happen this window. Saudi transfer window is done now. But Liverpool are going to lose Salah at some point. Whether that is...
They will. He will eventually.
Whether that's in January, whether that is next summer, whether that's in 2 years' time, they are going to lose.
He'll be 92. He will perish at some point.
Exactly. So, how do Liverpool replace Mohamed Salah?
They buy another footballer.
They probably will need to, yeah. I mean, Ben Doak does look good.
No. He's got it.
Oh, no?
No.
Harsh on Ben Doak.
No, not harsh. Rubbish.
Okay, fair enough. So, we've got a couple of options. Let's start with a Premier League ready option. Now, I've got two Premier League options for you. Now, the most strongly linked with the move is Jarrod Bowen. Do you think he'd work?
No.
Why not?
I said this about Jarrod Bowen recently. I don't remember when. I think he was a bit one.
Was he even on the show?
Don't know.
Probably just a random conversation with someone. Great.
Ordered him to myself. I think
Slide yourself in the middle.
I think he's a good player. I just think he had one really good year to make him look better than he actually is.
I think stats would say otherwise. I think based on his movement, based on his finishing.
I just think that he had a really, really strong season where he looked one of the best players in the Premier League. That kind of petered off last year, and it hasn't carried on into this, and it's kind of kept petering out into this year.
Have you watched West Ham and Jarrod Bowen this season?
I don't like Jack. I don't like.
They've played 4 games and he's looked sensational.
Yeah.
Do you want to know the difference? So, the season where he exploded, 2021, he was getting fantastic service. 2022, no service. Unsurprisingly, he doesn't get a lot of goals. 2023, Ward-Prowse has rocked up, and now there's balls getting pinged over the top all the time, and free kicks going flying.
It was happening. Now, bloody Bazinga's scoring for him. So,
yeah. Unsurprisingly, Bowen's scoring again. I think if you give him the right sort of service, namely Alexis McAllister and Dominic Szoboszlai,
Liverpool,
he gets a ridiculous amount.
He probably does. But he might actually get picked for England at that point as well.
He might do, yeah. Or maybe
might not get on the plane.
if you just really want to get picked for England, you go to Al Ettifaqui because that's the only game.
Mo Salah might get picked for England if he's lucky.
He might do.
Southgate is a changed country.
Yeah. Like the other Premier League option, and this is a bit more of a rogue shout, Bukayo Saka.
No.
If Liverpool get 150 million for Salah,
No. Arsenal
here's
would be
the
brain
next
dead.
best fit.
Arsenal would be absolutely brain dead.
They would be, but if Saka goes...
And the Arsenal fan base would go absolutely nuts. Because they, honestly...
The only reason I want to see this happen is to see AFT
I think
completely
90% of Arsenal fans would give their life to keep Bukayo Saka. Honestly, the Arsenal fans I talk to, like, they pray to him every night. It's mental.
I just imagine the chaos on the AFT. What's Craig doing?
Oh no!
God,
Oh no! Get out of my
I
club!
will burn down the Emirates if that.
Pitchfork.
God, that'd be brilliant. But yeah, I don't really see it happening. But he is next.
Never.
Profile-wise, he is the perfect fit.
I
That's
think
just what
Arsenal
we're
fans
at.
will sell their organs.
Now, the dream move. Who is this going to be? Well, it's obviously Kylian Mbappe. 150 million is, and if you sell Matip as well, you can probably get a bit more. Then you can use that to go for Kylian Mbappe. There is no better player on the market for me. He can play anywhere you want him to.
Feels
The front
bad,
line.
Klopp walks in that room with all the money. PSG goes, sure. Walks into the next room, back stood there. Matt just goes, no.
He's got Real Madrid shirt on.
Yeah.
That's the
That's the
biggest
in the other
issue.
room.
When it's so obvious that Real are like into
It's
it.
a pipe dream.
When he's made it so obvious
it's
that he
awful.
loves Real. Well, it is. It's like those two people, you know.
love triangle.
You know that, yeah, like those dynamics in school. You got those two people that clearly both like each other, but nobody's making a move. No one else makes a move.
Never thought that analogy would be made in a football podcast. But here we
Look
go.
across. We'll give them some names: Rob and Kit.
Yeah,
I think of a girl's name. They're just, you know, they're gonna get together. They know it's gonna happen eventually. But it isn't, and but no one else goes for them because you can't. It's not going to happen. They both, nothing ever happens. That would be that's how I describe this Mbappe
Or
situation.
even if it happened, Mbappe wouldn't want to be there. That's the thing. It's like that lad who's got the girl best friend who's a bit too close to be a best friend and a bit of a threat.
That classic situation.
That classic situation.
Yeah, Romeo and Juliet, but Juliet had to marry
Jules.
Jules. Bloody Jules. He's a
menace.
Oh god, what a horrible person
this is great.
Jules is.
Here we go.
Shall we? A couple more players to end on.
Yeah.
Now, these ones are a bit more rogue shouts who really fit the profile of exactly what you want from a Salah replacement, but I think they work perfectly. The first of which is PSV wide man Johan Bakayoko. We wanted to play against Rangers, didn't we?
Yeah, he was
And
good.
he, unsurprisingly, looked like Messi.
He's born embarrassed.
Against
It's having a rough day.
He did have a rough day. The other one is Takefusa Kubo.
No, that isn't. No, I'm not having the very long time.
I think he's a brilliant footballer. I was reading an article
Where
on
is
The
he now?
Athletic.
Glasgow.
So yeah, exactly. This was spoken about on The Athletic. That's why I want to talk about Salah today. They identified. Yeah, no, we love The Athletic at the minute.
Yeah.
And they identified Kubo as one of the best profile fits. And you look at his numbers, you look at the positions he takes up. It's very, very similar to the way Salah plays. Loves to dart inside. He's also got that versatility. He can play anywhere across the front line, really. He's also had a goals and assists to his portfolio of talent this season because he's got 3 assists and 1 goal in the first 4 matches of the La Liga season. So he's doing really, really well, and he's such an exciting talent. I mean, whenever I watch Takefusa Kubo, I fall in love.
Yeah.
I feel like he'd be a perfect fit for someone like Tottenham.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know why Postecoglou didn't go, please let me buy Kubo.
Yeah.
Because he's exactly what they need. He's a winger, can go either way. Now they've got Brennan Johnson, very similar, but personally, Kubo's better.
Makes a lot of sense.
I think he's a brilliant footballer. But that is everything for this episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. We've spoken about a lot of different things. It's been quite an enjoyable one. You know it's a late night recording when we're throwing out love triangle analogies and making up people like Rob and Kit. You never, all that sort of stuff.
Really hope he's watching this.
All that sort of stuff is great fun. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed. that is everything for today. It's getting very warm in the studio. Let's call it like Harry's losing it. Thank you guys for... Oh no, things we need to plug things first. We're live this weekend for Southampton Leicester. Premier predictions out on Friday as well. We'll be talking about all the games and stuff like that. So look out for that on Friday. Next week's podcast, we'll be back with our usual sort of format. We'll be talking about probably some of the Premier games, probably the referees, probably the FPL as well. Yeah. So that's good fun.
Which referee fucked up this week?
Yeah. Have a guess in the comments below. That's everything from us today, though. Please do leave a like, subscribe, comment, share, download. I don't know if you can do that, but
Right.
Yeah. And show your nan. And if you're listening on Spotify, then there's loads of different ways that you can get involved. Head on over to Discord as well. If you are on YouTube, there's a link in the description. If not, head on over to the YouTube and find the link there. That's everything from us today, though. Thank you guys very, very much for watching or listening, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.